What if I told you that right now, in this very microsecond, beneath every conscious thought you've ever processed, every logical decision you've ever made, and every intense emotion you've ever felt, there is a silent powerhouse operating in the shadows of your brain. It is a mechanism so vast, so extraordinarily precise, and so unimaginably intelligent that modern cognitive neuroscience has spent decades running functional MRI scans trying to map it. Yet they still cannot fully grasp its infinite depth. Think about this. This inner force possesses absolutely no ego. It holds no personal grudges against you. It never questions whether you actually deserve massive wealth, deep romantic love, or physical cellular healing. It does not argue, it does not debate, and it does not filter your commands. It simply, faithfully, and blindly executes whatever blueprint you hand it.
The great tragedy of the human condition is that most people have never been taught the specific language that this system speaks. Because of this profound ignorance, they spend their entire lives accidentally programming themselves for financial lack, crippling anxiety, and total mediocrity, all while this sleeping giant inside them waits in vain for the correct commands. The pioneer who dedicated his entire life to decoding this hidden, magnificent force was Dr. Joseph Murphy. As a brilliant philosopher, minister, and one of the most influential foundational thinkers of the 20th century, his masterwork, The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, has sold over 10 million copies globally. But today, we are going far beyond the basic surface level of that famous book. We are going deep into the mechanics. We are exploring exactly why these principles work, how 2026 neuroscience validates his theories, and most importantly, the exact practical protocols you can implement starting tonight. Stay with me until the very end of this session, because once you understand this, you will never look at your own brain the same way again. Chapter 1: The Two Minds, the Director and the Crew. To understand your human potential, you must first understand that you do not possess two separate minds, but rather two distinct functional spheres within one single mind. Dr. Joseph Murphy categorized these as the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. To visualize this clearly, let us completely discard the old, overused cliché of the iceberg. Instead,
Imagine a massive, multi-million-dollar Hollywood movie studio set. Your conscious mind is the director standing on the stage. The director holds the written script, looks through the camera lens, analyzes the scenery, makes logical executive choices, and barks out orders. This conscious faculty is analytical, critical, and responsible for your willpower. However, from a neurological standpoint, it is incredibly limited. It can only process about 40 bits of data per second. It gets tired, it gets overwhelmed, and it has very low bandwidth. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is the massive, invisible production crew, the digital special effects team, the lighting technicians, and the master editors working tirelessly in the background. This crew does not sleep. It handles a staggering, mind-boggling 11 million bits of information every single second. It controls your heartbeat, regulates your digestion, monitors your cellular replication, and archives every single memory you have ever accumulated since the moment you were in your mother's womb. When you first attempted to learn how to drive a motor vehicle, your conscious director had to your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is the massive, invisible production crew, the digital special effects team, the lighting technicians, and the master editors working tirelessly in the background. This crew does not sleep. It handles a staggering, mind-boggling 11 million bits of information every single second. It controls your heartbeat, regulates your digestion, monitors your cellular replication, and archives every single memory you have ever accumulated since the moment you were in your mother's womb. When you first attempted to learn how to drive a motor vehicle, your conscious director had to micromanage every single terrifying detail. You had to consciously think about the steering wheel, the pressure on the gas pedal, the rear view mirror, and the turn signals all at once. Your director was overwhelmed and exhausted. But today, after years of repetition, you can drive down a crowded highway for 50 miles while listening to a complex financial podcast and eating a snack. How? Because the highly complex task of driving was successfully handed over from the conscious director to the automated subconscious crew. Dr. Murphy's ultimate realization was this: you do not just automate physical mechanics like driving or tying your shoes. You also completely automate your financial limits, your toxic relationship patterns, and your baseline self-worth. If your subconscious crew has been handed an invisible, generational script of scarcity, fear, and struggle, they will perfectly construct a physical reality of scarcity and struggle around you every single day on complete autopilot, regardless of how hard your conscious director tries to work. Chapter 2: The Law of Impression. Blueprint into Reality. Dr. Joseph Murphy laid down a fundamental spiritual and psychological law that dictates all human experience: the law of belief. He wrote that you do not attract into your life what you desperately want. You attract exclusively what you deeply, unconditionally believe yourself to be. To understand this mechanism, think of your subconscious mind as an incredibly rich, hyper-fertile piece of black soil. The soil does not argue with the gardener. It has no analytical capacity to say, "This is a toxic seed, I will not grow it." If you plant nightshade, the soil will grow nightshade with the exact same precision and dedication as it would grow a beautiful, life-giving rose. When an individual constantly walks around murmuring, "I always experience bad luck. Money always leaves my hands as soon as I get it," or "My body is naturally weak and prone to illness," they are not just venting frustration. They are actively dropping highly potent toxic. When an individual constantly walks around murmuring, "I always experience bad luck. Money always leaves my hands as soon as I get it," or "My body is naturally weak and prone to illness," they are not just venting frustration. They are actively dropping highly potent toxic seeds into a hyper-intelligent, creative, psychological soil. Modern cognitive neurology explains this exact phenomenon through what is known as the reticular activating system, RAS. The RAS is a dense network of neurons located in your brainstem that acts as the ultimate master spam filter for your brain. because your brain is bombarded with millions of sensory inputs every second. The RAS determines what information gets through to your conscious awareness and what gets deleted.
If you intentionally or accidentally program your RAS to believe that financial opportunities are scarce and that the economy is collapsing, your physical brain will literally render you blind to a highly profitable business idea or investment opportunity standing directly in front of your face. Your eyes will see it, but your brain will filter it out as irrelevant data. You can never change your life by fighting against outer physical circumstances. You can only change your life by fundamentally altering the subconscious blueprint, changing the impression so that the expression naturally follows. Chapter 3: The Sleep Gateway, the Twilight Hack. Among all the methodologies that Dr. Murphy researched, he possessed a profound, almost fanatical obsession with one highly specific, magical window of time: the 10 minutes immediately preceding the moment you drift into deep sleep. When you are lying in bed, in that hazy, drifting twilight state, referred to in modern sleep science as the hypnagogic state, a profound neurological shift occurs. Your brain waves begin to slow down dramatically. They drop from the high-frequency, high-alert beta waves of daytime stress down into the deeply relaxed alpha waves, and eventually into the hyper-receptive, hypnotic theta waves. And during this precious 10-minute window, the logical, hypercritical, skeptical gatekeeper of your conscious mind finally steps away from the door and goes offline. Whatever specific emotional frequency, mental image, or internal monologue you hold in your mind during those final conscious moments gets downloaded directly, with absolute zero resistance, into your psychological mainframe. What does the average human being do during this golden, sacred window of time? They open their mobile devices and scroll through highly negative news feeds. They watch dramatic videos, check their stressful bank balances, or lay in the dark, mentally playing a loop of all their financial anxieties, unpaid bills, and regrets from the past.
By doing this, they are essentially writing a highly detailed script of crisis, lack, and anxiety, and handing it directly to their subconscious crew right before the system reboots for the night. The crew then spends the next 8 hours of sleep organizing your internal chemistry and external perceptions to match that exact state of crisis.
Dr. Murphy's counter strategy for transformation was beautifully elegant. He instructed his students to completely neutralize all negative inputs before bed. Instead, enter sleep by repeating a single, short, emotionally charged phrase or a vivid mental snapshot of total victory. By letting your mind marinate in the feeling of wishes fulfilled for 8 hours, you systematically override years of negative conditioning while you sleep. Chapter 4: The Language Flaw. Why Affirmations Backfire. Almost everyone who has ever dipped a toe into the self-help world has experienced this classic failure. You stand in front of your bathroom mirror, looking at a stack of overdue credit card bills, and you force yourself to shout, "I am a multi-millionaire. I am overflowing with riches." And what happens? Absolutely nothing changes. In fact, you often end up feeling even more stressed and anxious than you did before. Why does this popular method fail so miserably? Dr. Murphy identified this exact phenomenon as the conflict of the two minds. When your conscious mind makes a statement that directly contradicts a deeply rooted, established subconscious belief, your subconscious instantly detects the lie. It rejects the affirmation as absolute spam. And remember, because the subconscious handles 11 million bits of data, while the conscious mind handles 40, the subconscious wins that battle every single time with zero effort. To successfully bypass this hyper-vigilant, logical gatekeeper, we must use 3 distinct, highly advanced linguistic and psychological hacks. The revision technique. At the end of every single day, before you sleep, mentally review your day. If you had a negative interaction, a failed sales call, or a moment of financial panic, do not accept it as final reality. Close your eyes and mentally replay the scene, but edit it so that it turned out absolutely flawlessly. You are essentially hacking your memory storage files, replacing the trauma with a template of success before it crystallizes into your long-term identity. The third person shift. Neurological studies show that when you talk to yourself using your own name, your brain drops its defensive walls. Instead of forcing yourself to say, "I am incredibly confident," switch the perspective. Say to yourself, "Your name is an absolute force of nature. Your name handles immense pressure with complete ease and grace." This subtle psychological distance completely eliminates the immediate inner resistance of your ego. The gratitude bridge. Instead of making a rigid, black and white statement about an identity you don't yet have, switch the entire conversation to an authentic, emotional frequency that your brain cannot deny. Gratitude. Use a transitional phrase like, "I am so deeply grateful now that the infinite creative currents of life are opening up brand new pathways of abundance and opportunity for me." Because gratitude is an emotion that signals a harvest has already occurred, your subconscious accepts it immediately without an argument. Chapter 5. The Bio Blueprint. Mind over cellular biology. One of the most controversial yet fascinating claims that Dr. Joseph Murphy made in the mid-20th century was that the subconscious mind is the literal architect of the physical human body. He asserted that if you could change the mental image you hold of your physical frame, you could systematically alter your cellular health. Decades later, the highly respected medical field of psychoneuroimmunology has proven that Murphy was not speaking metaphorically. He was speaking literal, biological fact. We now know with absolute scientific certainty that every single thought you entertain generates an immediate cascade of neuropeptides and neurochemicals. If you constantly live in a state of subconscious fear, anger, or victimization, your brain continuously floods your bloodstream with cortisol and adrenaline. This chronic chemical bath actively suppresses your immune system, damages your cardiovascular lining, and accelerates cellular degradation. Your cells are literally eavesdropping on your thoughts and configuring their health based on your emotional baseline. Consider the profound, universally documented medical occurrences of the placebo and nocebo effects. In countless clinical trials, patients suffering from severe, long-term chronic illnesses have experienced rapid, radical physical remissions simply because they thoroughly believed they were taking a revolutionary, miraculous new pharmaceutical drug, even though they were actually swallowing nothing more than a simple, inert sugar pill. Their physical cells responded perfectly,
not to a chemical substance, but to a profound mental conviction.
Dr. Murphy's core directive for vibrant health is non-negotiable. You must immediately stop claiming ownership over disease. The moment you say, "my diabetes," "my chronic fatigue," or "my depression," you are instructing your subconscious crew to preserve that condition as a permanent part of your physical infrastructure. Treat your body as a magnificent, self-healing, biological machine, and consistently flood your nervous system with mental visuals of pure energy, structural strength, and perfect harmony.
If this deep dive brought immense value to your life and shifted something within your awareness, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a session, and leave a detailed comment with your thoughts below. Until next time, keep growing and keep looking within.